Welcome to the Social Video Playbook. How's it going, Paige?
Hi, thanks so much for having me. It's going well. How are you?
Good. It is sunny outside and not snowing for once in Tahoe, so life
It
is
is
good.
rainy and miserable in Pennsylvania right now. So
Well, hopefully it'll get sunny there soon. But welcome to the Social Video Playbook. I'm so stoked to have you here. And for everybody that's joining us, welcome also to the Social Video Playbook. This is our space for the next 15-ish minutes where we give you fast insights from real leaders who are actively working in the space of social media, insights, video, all of the good stuff that we want to know as marketers, as brand leaders, as C-suite executives on how to grow your business, how to grow your companies, how to grow your brand so that you can better understand what it means and what are some of the things that are working and not working. In these episodes, we have an emphasis on how video is playing a part in the changes around marketing and how marketing leaders and insight leaders, companies and brands, as I said earlier, are making these changes and these shifts in this new social video era. So here with me today is one of these amazing leaders, Paige Walker. Paige, tell us about yourself.
hey everybody, thanks again so much for having me, Elizabeth. My name is Paige Walker. I'm an associate manager of consumer insights at the Hershey company, and that's a broad title, but what I do is I lead social listening and intelligence for our US brands, and I also assist with traditional market research. My social listening duties can be very small, from what people are saying about a product or saying about a brand and brand health, to very large topics like things that are trending and just stuff going on in our society today and how that impacts consumer behavior. I come from our consumer relations team. I started out as a social care specialist, so engaging directly with consumers on social media, learning really what matters most to them. And then before that, I was a journalist in a past life. So I love video and storytelling.
I didn't know you were a journalist in a past life. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Funny how people shift roles. That's great. Thank you, Paige. I'm so happy to dive in here. So I want to just literally start asking some of these questions. You've come from a very vast background. You work for a massive company that puts out some amazing content that you help orchestrate and research. And I just want to understand, big picture wise, what's the number one shift in your industry that you see that brands just aren't ready for or haven't been ready for?
I wouldn't say this is CPG specific, but it definitely applies to CPG brands and the way that they're going to market in the future. I think that celebrities and mega influencers are just not as relatable anymore as they used to be. Consumers are turning off from that like rich, lavish lifestyle, and they want to see brands and companies, CPG included, work with smaller, you could say micro influencers, or just influencers who are more relatable. They have a great relationship with their audience. They can tell a good story and are truly those content creators and not just an influencer. So I think the way that brands partner with creators is really going to change over the next couple years, and just the type of content coming out, I think, is going to be honestly much higher quality.
Yeah, it's true. I see that shift too. I think there's this move into this more niche area. How do you think that social video is changing the way that brands make decisions?
Yeah, it goes back to my last point a little bit. I think brands are going to start looking for those creators that have a good relationship with their audience and they're driving engagement over maybe like views and followers, because at the end of the day, a brand wants to be seen as relatable and something you want to have in your life, and they want to tell a story. There's certain creators that do that really well and others that may not. So they might be just looking at, okay, what kind of engagement does this person get? Is it positive? Is it negative? What messages are they putting out into the world? And are they the best fit for my brand?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think social video plays a big part in that versus like on Twitter, it was just how many replies and tweets does this person have and followers, where now it's like there's this whole engagement aspect of social video that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
So speaking of new ways that social video is changing our lives, there's a lot that happens in social. I would love to know, coming from your space of being this insights leader and market researcher, and you tap into a lot of areas across the Hershey Holdco, what's some of your biggest challenges right now across social video?
Just data access. Unfortunately, the TikTok API is a very complicated one, and we can only get certain kinds of TikTok data through the tools that I use currently, and it's sometimes just not what I'm looking for. So I have to spend a lot of time manually going through the app, manually scrolling through comment sections to see what sentiment is or get those little nuggets of insights that I'm looking for. I do think I have a little bit different of a perspective maybe than some of your other guests because I work on the insights side of social, and there's so many different careers we can do in social media nowadays, which is great. So I'd say on the insight side, definitely just that data access and data quality.
Yeah. And with that being like your main challenge is just trying to get as much data as possible so you can do your job well. You mentioned that you're manually scrolling on TikTok. Are there other ways that you're trying to combat or face these challenges? What's working, what's not? Or is it mostly you just like scrolling all day?
Yeah, it's a lot of being scrappy and just being willing to do the work and dig for that information. And sometimes it does take a lot longer than I would like. Unfortunately, I'm a one-woman team here. I'm on a larger insights team, but I'm the only one on the team doing social insights. Sometimes my boss might be like, hey, like, why is this taking so long? And it's because I have to watch videos. I have to dig through comment sections. I have to read things, because sometimes the caption of the video might be totally different than the actual content of the video. So you got to watch through it, see what the sentiment is there, and then analyze what the sentiment is in the comments. And of course, traditional social listening tools do help with this to some extent, but there's just certain things that the tools are not great at yet.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's so funny you mentioned that because I pulled a video the other day. I think it was like a KFC video. It was something like that. And this girl literally tagged it like hashtag KFC. And I threw it into her comment folder and I was like, oh, I want to see what people are commenting on for this video. It had a ton of views. And all the comments came back, oh, I know, my boyfriend sucks too, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what? And it turned out that like she tagged it KFC because she was eating KFC. But the whole time, what she was actually doing is talking about how she just dumped her boyfriend. And so the context was like totally different. And I was like, thankfully, like I was able to pull this out and be like, okay, actually, this is not relatable. She just happened to be eating KFC. But yeah, if you're sitting there manually watching all those videos, it is a time suck because then you get stuck down this rabbit hole of watching irrelevant videos.
Yeah, and just wondering, am I even seeing everything? Because the algorithm only shows you what, you're going to get on your specific algorithm. And even when you search, sometimes the search is not the best function. Yeah, just it could be better for sure.
I feel like I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways so others can hear it too if they haven't already made the assumption. But if you had unlimited resources to solve this data crisis that you have, what would you do?
Yeah. So the obvious answer is I would have more tools that are specific to social video, a tool that can give me image recognition, a tool that can transcribe the audio of video. That I feel like is really something I would use because, like I said, sometimes the caption is totally different than the content. Like yesterday, I was doing a report for a brand on a new product that we launched, and there was this video that came up. It was from TikTok, actually, and it had it marked as positive sentiment 100%. The caption was positive, and then I go in and I watch it and the video itself was totally negative, and I'm like, that's great. Okay. So just things are not always what they seem on the surface. So would love just a tool that can do a little more with video than what I have now. And then if I had unlimited resources, I would want a bigger team. I'd want a few other social insights pros on my team, and I would love to split us up by categories. So for us at Hershey, that's like chocolate, mints and gum, salty snacks, protein. Like we could focus on different brands because unfortunately I'm just one person and I can't work with all of the brands all the time. So unfortunately I do have to say no sometimes when I do get a request, and we have to decide, is this going to have the most business impact? Where should I be focusing my time? Would love to just have a bigger team if possible as well.
Yeah, bigger teams. I hear that a lot. Everyone's like, it could be anything. I want like 30 more people.
I know.
Right. Oh man. And your tool problem can be solved. You know this. And a lot of the video analysis tools like ourselves at Viral Moment do the audio and transcription stuff to help you out. So we'll always chat about more data and getting into the hands of Hershey's. But moving on to better things, measuring success. You see a lot of stuff that works, you see a lot of stuff that doesn't. Can you tell us what is a common mistake that you see that brands or companies are making when they're using or interpreting social video?
Yeah, for sure. I think right now the mistake that's being made is that marketers are often focusing on view count and impression count and not engagement rate and not the sentiment in the comments and not just in general how people view that specific creator or that specific campaign. Because you can have a billion impressions on a paid social video. Okay, what does that actually mean? Can you go up onto somebody onto the street and ask them about this new product that you've been advertising? Would they even know what it is? Like, impressions do not equal awareness. Like, I think there's just a big gap there where, yeah, I don't even know how many seconds it takes on viewing something to count as an impression, but assuming it's a very small matter of seconds, you can just scroll by and that would count as an impression. Doesn't mean that you remembered it. It doesn't mean that you internalize any of that information. Maybe you remember you saw a logo from a brand or something, but you might not actually remember what the product was or what the messaging was. So I just think views and impressions, while they're great to have, they're not directly translating to consumer awareness, positive consumer sentiment, and then ultimately sales.
Yeah. What do you think that brands should actually be measuring if it isn't in the views and stats that you were mentioning?
Yeah, and I'll repeat myself a little bit with this answer, but just again, the engagement and the sentiment I think are huge. And then just in general, like how the broader internet views a specific creator that may be making this video content, or how the broader internet might view the company that's putting out this video content. Because like I said, you could have billions of impressions and nobody actually knows what your new product is or your new campaign is or whatever. It matters what they're saying about it. And then if they're saying these things, okay, what's good, what's bad, where can you improve? Or if it's a specific creator, how does their following actually view them? Do they have a good relationship? Does the creator engage? Do they actually view the creator as relatable and not just this lavish, rich influencer with a very different lifestyle than they might live? Those things could definitely be helpful to know for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving a little bit out of like success metrics for brands, but looking in your field, you work with a lot of different directors across a lot of different brands and areas, like you mentioned earlier. What do you think is an underrated insight that leaders in your field should act on now that they're just like overlooking?
I think that community building and sustainability are just really big right now, and brands should be doing more of it. And you're going to notice through all my answers, there's this theme of, I think that the mega influencer is not going to work anymore in a few years, or these big celebrities. There's a time and place for it, of course. There's some great campaigns recently, like I think Oreo just released a campaign with Selena Gomez, like that I think is going to be awesome. We did our campaign with Angel Reese and Reese's. I think that's going to be, that was awesome as well. It was very successful. So there's a time and place for it for sure. But it's, if that's all you are doing, then I think you have a problem. I think brands who are really prioritizing community building and helping people in need, those are the brands that are going to have the most positive sentiment moving forward. Another trend that's really big right now is underconsumption. Consumers, they don't want to see these videos with people getting a million PR packages and having drawers and drawers of different products that they're not using. Like, they want things that are good value for their money, that's going to last them a long time, and is good for the environment, good for the community. So brands that focus on those things, and then just lifting up their communities, putting their dollars into areas where people may need help, I think that's going to be really big in the future, because we've seen some backlash online to some brands that just seem to value, once again, that like lavish gifting and like big celebrity campaigns. And I think just with the state of the economy in the world right now, brands really just need to read the room a little and try to be as relatable as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that happen with the soda pop company whose name is escaping me, or I'm going to get it wrong with this competitor, so I'm not going to say it. But yeah, they did that, and people were like, why didn't you just send it to like, teacher lounges? Like,
Yep.
why did you send this huge vending machine to this millionaire YouTuber? Cool, not as cool as I want it to be. Yeah, brands can definitely be missing that opportunity. There are a lot of common assumptions around social video. And as somebody that has to analyze all that social video, what is something like a common assumption that you look at your boss or other people in your field and you're just like, no, that's not how that works?
Yeah, so for me personally, sometimes I work with a lot of people who don't use social media regularly, so they may not understand the value and the reach and just the power that social has in our year of 2025. So just a lot of education had to be done on my end and just showing them, hey, this is not just silly dance videos and people doing weird challenges and selfies and whatever. And while that stuff exists and it's fine and good, there is also this other side of the internet that is very rich and deep, and people are sharing their everyday experiences with brands and products and just what's going on for them in their daily lives, what's a problem for them right now or their families, and ways they might use brands to solve those problems. So I think, there are some people who are old-fashioned. If you're working at a company that's been around for a long time, there's a lot of old-fashioned people. So sometimes you just might have to sit them down and say, hey, there are these rich insights here. People are going way deeper than you would expect them to online. And we, as companies, can learn a lot from them.
So earlier, we mentioned if the world was your oyster, Paige, what could you have? And you'd say teams and lots of tools and all these things. But if you were to get one thing in 2025, so it already exists, right? That would make just your life easier and make social video easier for your business, what would that one thing be?
If it already exists, viral moment. And I'm not saying that to be like biased or anything. I mean, it's just the truth at this point. I myself and social listening folks like me need a video tool, because the reality is the big traditional tools are just lagging behind on video, and their video, capabilities are just not as strong as they should be at this point. So unless they are going to innovate further, we unfortunately need more tools. So that's what I would have if it existed right now.
Love this. And for those that are listening, watching, we did not promote Paige to do this.
I'm a true fan.
We just really love each other. That's amazing, Paige. Your insights have been really great and you have so much knowledge to give. Is there just like one more bonus time question here, lesson that you've learned from navigating social video, or insight that you want to share with people coming up that you just wish more people understood, you want to share out in the world?
Don't underestimate the power of social media and the power of social sentiment, because while it might seem small and like it's just a niche group of people, we've seen just over the past few months, things going on in social media have real impact for businesses. So just be careful of how you show up online, be careful of the decisions you make and the creators you partner with, because social is powerful and it can have really a great impact or a really terrible impact if you let it.
It can go bad quickly. We plenty of circumstances where that is. Maybe that's a whole new podcast series we'll do, is like where social went bad for brands. I like that. Anyways, thank you so much, Paige, for your insights. She has a ton of amazing information that she posts all the time to LinkedIn. It's scrolling across here. If you're not tuned into the webinar and you're just listening to this on Spotify or wherever you're at, I will drop her LinkedIn profile so you can follow her there. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to chatting again soon.
Thank you so much for having me.